I was curious. I was watching the pod last week, and I saw that Super Soaker up there. Is that like a beta prototype Super Soaker? Or is it just something because it's a familiar feeling
No,
for
it's
you?
a collab. It's a
Supreme?
collab. It's a Supreme Super Soaker collab.
Word.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure everybody knows, but the Super Soaker was originally created by a black man. So
Yes.
just wanted to get a little collab and and advance the black agenda as well.
I did not even know.
Yeah.
Is he black like me or black like Lou?
You didn't know
that? I did.
Is it?
So good and tasty.
That note. Welcome everybody to the AGS podcast for the 2024 season. Week 2 recap. One of the hosts, Rebel Scum, the no-time champion, joined by my no-time champion compadre, Rudy's replacements. What's cracking, Rudy?
Hey, what's going on, Scum?
It's great to see you. We're also joined here by the commissioner of the league, the 4-time champ, Siebert Frogs. What's cracking?
I'm hurting, man. Hurting. 100-point loss to Queef Swallower.
100-point loss. Oh, that's terrible. And some injuries to boot. That's never great. The 2022 AGS champ, Ambassadors of Quan. What's cracking?
What's up, fellas?
All right, that was short. Didn't expect that.
And no more of that Quan and the coin of the piece of the love of the grease of the lip of the juice. No more of that in the beginning.
You know what? I don't have it memorized, so I was gonna say it. I don't want to fuck it up.
you mean you're reading that off the script?
Nick's opening last week. I didn't want to do one of those.
He was cue cards.
Hey, I really wish you would have paused that video and see that again. That
wow.
Was really weird.
Wow.
Welcome, everybody.
Is that why you're going to quit the pod? And the 2023 defending champion, New Jack City.
Well, boys, I'm a little full. I just had a nice helping of humble pie. Nake gave me flashback. He treated me like a prostitute in a cheap hotel room getting pile drived on a bed. You know what I mean? He just
pile drive.
He disrespected me.
Sounds deeply experiential.
Okay,
deep is the operative word there.
Step by step.
Speaking of young buck,
sit. What?
Go ahead, brother.
No, just in response to that, I think it was what's the Houston meat pie? I didn't catch that reference on.
Yeah, I didn't get that one either.
I said a Houston meat pie. Oh,
nothing like a Houston meat pie
in the beginning of the game, the cameraman just caught a straight up angle of the cheerleader straight up in her face. She was a Houston cheerleader, so I guess nobody saw that rendition of Red Zone. No pun intended.
Oh man, it took some thinking to get that one. But thanks for clarifying.
Jesus. Hey, speaking of the young buck, he is set to join us here after that shellacking he gave you. But while we're waiting, I thought that we could bring up to speed our one new viewer and make sure that they understand how this league runs. It is a unique league. We have our own special rules here. And I figured there was no one better than the commissioner to break it down for us and tell us a little bit more about AGS, how we flow.
All right. Quick version or long version, Scum?
You know, a nice summary would be great.
The VU version.
17 years.
Comprehensive summary.
The VU version. NJC, thanks for bringing new eyes to the podcast, man. So AGS is a 12-team dynasty keeper rookie contract. The rookie contracts vary between 2 to 4 years. $250 buy-in, half-point PPR league. You know what, Scum? I wrote the long version, man. So I don't know. The directions
just give it to it.
The directions weren't very clear. we run our league on CBS Sports. It's a paid site, head-to-head for 14 regular season weeks, and then a 3-week postseason, including a consolation bracket. Our final standings determine champion payouts, keepers, draft position for the following season. We have a weekly $30 high score prize. Our champions receive not only these lovely bobbleheads I have 4 of. NJC, I still owe you one. But some league members have advanced that and have championship rings and belts and other awards. We have a last place suffrage. This week I played Queef Swallower, formerly known as Oops Babies. But the team that comes in last place, we rename them and we come up with a creative logo for their team. Just want to shout out some of our Hall of Famers. We have 4 teams in the league with multiple championships. That's NJC, just got a 2nd chip. Curse has 2 chips. T. Ruth has 2 chips. And the Frogs, a 4-time championship franchise. We have 7 teams with 1 championship, including Sugandis, who just joined us, and Quan.
Damn, you just skipped right over Joey Bryant, huh? Doesn't Joey have multiple chips?
He said that the curse.
I said the curse. Yeah.
Oh.
We don't use government
Thanks for
names
interrupting.
on this podcast.
I think you have St. Mary's, Super Soaker still in your ears.
NJC, I thought Scum asked you to mute your microphone for that exact reason, jumping in and fucking up the flow for no reason.
Thank you.
We have 7 one-time champs, Sugandis, Quan. Quan, you guys have been listening to this pod now for a week or 2, and you hear this guy who acts like he knows so much about the league, but he's in this group with 7 other people with just 1 measly championship. It also includes FU Pay Me, Pimps, Victoria's Secret, Hook, Voodoo, and Scum asked me to go down and kind of talk about the importance of the league. So one thing I do want to put out there is we lost 1 member of the league. Tony Hackett, I got this. One of our family members, uncle, beloved family member, he passed away in 2017. So rest in peace to I got this. We have 5 founding members from the original league. Real quick, in 2006, Eric Doyle, the Pimps, had a league. He asked me to join. I think Voodoo, when you hear Voodoo talk about he was a founding member, this was the 2006 version of the league. It was not AGS. We got in, didn't really love how it ran. I had some suggestions for how we could improve. And Pimps asked me to take over as commissioner of the league, invite some of my friends. And that's how AGS was formed in 2007. So the founding members that I talk about are those from 2007. They include Pimps, Curse, T. Ruth, Rudy, and myself. This is year 18 of AGS. We've held drafts in Los Angeles, New Orleans, Vegas, and our current home base in San Diego. And we talk a lot of trash in AGS. We went from a league chat room on CBS to emails to we would write things. I think I wrote a 3-page diss track to Idaho in the vein of like a Hustler porn article of things that we can no longer discuss on this podcast thanks to being censored by the Quan. But that led to the WhatsApp group where we talk trash, and now here to what we're doing now, the podcast. So there's been some evolution of the way we talk trash. We celebrate as a family and a league, birthdays. I mentioned Tony's funeral, weddings, baby showers. Everybody in this league is like family to me. Everyone's welcome here every weekend to watch the games. And to go back to drafting, sometimes it has to be done virtually. Right? Not everybody can make the live draft, although we encourage it. And, I'll probably pass the mic here to Rudy because he's had some of the most infamous virtual drafts in the late 2000s. And Rudy, I'll let you speak about that a little bit.
Yeah, 2007, my first year, I drafted at a wedding, and I picked Drew Brees in the first round. That ended up going to the commish after I think it was like 3 or 4 weeks. that type of anger though. But in 2009, I actually drafted during a mortar attack in Afghanistan. Yeah, that took a toll a little bit, but I wasn't leaving my tent, and that was when I think that was when the pay was like $100 or 150, something like
It
that.
was.
And
I remember, man, we all felt super guilty that we were out partying in Vegas while you were in Afghanistan, and you literally, like, you know, we're all on computers right now doing this podcast. We're looking at Rudy, and we hear like somebody shouting orders in the background, and then Rudy's screen starts to shake and goes black, and he's like, "Give me 5 minutes." I don't know what he had to go do, but he came back in 5 minutes and finished his draft.
yeah, I just told them, all I said was tell them that I'm here. I'm just tell them that they were all in the bunkers, and I said tell them that I'm here. So I went back into the tents, turned everything back on, and yeah, Yahaira wasn't too happy about that, but what the fuck ever. I did it again in 2012. I was in Qatar. No, I was in Kuwait. I was in Kuwait. Did it there virtually. Get it on. I was in the laundry. Actually, I was in the laundry room. I just needed a plug. That's all. That's pretty much all I needed. Then after that, leave like 2021. I think I had to take a year off for personal reasons, but I got back on it the next year. So that's my dedication to AGS actually. So I love this shit.
Thank you for your service. We appreciate that. And just so that if we ever need more of a clearly defined example of how the fantasy gods don't give a fuck, this man served his country, was being bombed, did everything he could, and you've been rewarded with 0 titles. Can you believe that? That's crazy. Just like me.
Yeah.
And I haven't done half of that. I haven't done half of that.
I ain't got one yet. I ain't got one.
Yeah. Painful. Siebert left that part out. There's 4 other dudes in the league who currently haven't won, and it stinks.
Oh, I'm sorry. You know, it always I forget that there's teams with 0 championships. My bad. I feel like you have to earn a championship to have me utter your name.
Oh, that's strange. You do it every week on this podcast. So
introduce them, scum. Introduce your fellow brothers with 0 chips.
I already got one of my guys on here, Rudy's replacements. We've got Who's Coming in Second, formerly Who's Coming in Me, the maybe 3-peat last place finisher. I don't know, 2 or 3 times there. And the Queef Swallower, our current last place finisher, who did dust your ass today, and we will get to that. We can jump right. Is there anything else we want to put a bow on it? I mean, the league, what you said, thank you so much for sharing that. That was the long version, but it was well done, well said, and thanks, Rudy, for really telling us, you know, your dedication. That example is kind of just like a microcosm of how we all feel. We do the dumbest shit for this league, but it's more than just football. So, anything else you guys want to chime in? Go for it.
Thanks for your service.
I just want to add something real quick to yes, thank you for your service, Rudy. Just add something real quick to the one listener. When you're talking about our league, what makes our league so fun, at least to me, is the format of our league is that sweet spot between a dynasty and still having the joy of a redraft. Because most dynasty leagues, you're stuck with your team and, you know, and all that. And then, you know, for a redraft, you know, you start all over every year. Our format is the sweet spot right in between that, where you know, it's what makes our league so fun to me.
Ooh, tell us more about that sweet spot, Lou.
That
it's a sweet spot. It's a sweet spot between the lip and the gum.
I think this is a great place.
I think
this is a great place for Slurpface right here, actually. Let's start right here. Let's jump right into the week's matchups. We have Sugandiz on here. Thank you for joining us. First of all, what was on the food order? You said you had to go pick up some food. So what did you make us wait for? I hope it was something good, like shawarma or something.
Yeah, there's a nice little.
It wasn't Houston's.
Yeah, I'm fiending Houston's, man. It's been too long. I'm getting that itch. We might just have to do a me, you, and Lex Houston's trip. But yeah, it was there's an Indian spot right down the street, so a little goat curry, a little.
So you weren't full off of the French cuisine you dined on all weekend, and
Oh no,
you have to just
I had
just
enough.
wasn't
I was
enough.
full. I was full. I was full from the weekend.
CK,
I need to
was
switch
it
it up.
was it a cut of quitters meat of goat, or was it the quitters slice?
I think
Yeah,
you
I didn't know. I
think
didn't
it's
know.
extra lip in that slice, Lennon. Extra lip.
Sugan, was it the monologue? And the dearest Sugan, happy hump day.
Oh, very good. Very
I'd
good
like
pivot.
to start
Good
off by
pivot.
saying that I love you like a little brother. We'll take
Great
20
pivot,
more minutes
Paradise.
to
Great
read
now-
this
fucking
whole
pivot.
Now that I have
paragraph.
Brandon on here, what I mean, what was the thought process behind the intro, body,
Yeah.
conclusion? What
You know why? Tell you why I'm mad.
Oh,
Tell
there's
you
a
why
Smurf
I'm mad.
face right
You know what I'm
there.
saying? I'll tell you why I'm mad. You know what I mean? My shit's just what y'all blazing at. No, man, but like I'm mad at you. Like I have respect. That's why I posed it with like MLS format. You know what I'm saying? I gave you that much respect. I gave you paragraphs, right? And like what therapy tells you, you start with a compliment before you slap somebody in the face. You know what I mean? So, you know, I appreciate you. You little brother of the group. You know what I'm saying? You earned your title. I've seen you grow, you know what I'm saying? Pause. As a little more than I should have seen you grow, but I've seen you grow as
God.
you know, like you know what I'm saying? Like you've come of age, college, you're doing your thing, you got a nice little home situation going on. So I respect you. But that door don't swing both ways, brother. You've been trying to dirty dick me with deals and dangling weird pics and snatching up guys I talk about. Like you sat there, watched the debacle of me lose AD Mitchell, and then you hopped in like, got him, and then was like, just give me a third. You know what I mean? Give me a third, bitch. So I don't appreciate the honey dick, and I leave honey dick in the MK. He served our country. You know what I'm saying? He can honey dick. Pause. You nigga.
You know what?
No, but good win.
You got a point, BC. You know, I've often when I get angry, nicknamed Sugan the prostitute of the league ever since he voted me down on the worst trade rejection in the league in history, simply because we were playing that week, not because he didn't stand on his morals. He stood on just his prostituteness. I'll just leave it at that.
I
That's a
think
good
you
reason
would-
to
you
vote it
would-
He
down,
called
though.
you Jezebel.
I
He called you
think you would have
Jezebel.
a solid point if it was just me that did the veto, but a veto, to my
Well,
knowledge, you need more than one. And I
I
think there was more than one.
always expected from the Slurps. I mean, so that's 3 votes against me already. But you had to add to that, Sugan. And just for people who are listening, it was Michael Pittman and a 4th round pick for Calvin Ridley, and they rejected that trade.
At
And
the
he was
time,
balling,
it was way
though, right?
worse. It was way
Huh?
worse.
Yeah.
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 no, that was it. That was the trade.
That's what it went to, but I think it was.
No, it went to a third. I had to change the 4th to a third.
Oh,
yeah.
you son of a gun in the background. You son of a gun. You goddamn son of a gun.
Ruh-roh. Yo,
Somebody
so
was in their feelings about Slurp Island, and now they're paying me back on wax. Okay.
yeah. Hey, by the way, shout out to the Mad Rapper. Shout out there. Nice job there, kicking the door skit. We gave Sugandis a lot of shit for Alvin Kamara, and that motherfucker scored 45 points, and has actually proven to be the steal of the draft.
What idiot said that he was the worst pick in the first round?
The lip that's talking right now. I only have one thing to say. One thing to say about that. Karma, chameleon. Kamara
Gotcha.
whoop my ass.
Kamara Karma.
Kamara. Dude,
No,
4 touchdowns. God damn.
Nobody. I guess nobody heard of him, and except me. So I mean,
No, everybody
pick the
heard of
W.
him.
Let me ask you
No.
this: when we were there in San Diego,
and I was standing there next to Lennon, and we were staring at that draft sheet, and you saw
Holding
me point
hands, father
to
and son.
Kamara.
Slurp,
Can you be
don't wanna
honest
there, Slurp
about
face.
how angry you were? I turned around. It almost looked like you were so angry you were about to start shedding tears. You're like, no, say what you got to say. Say what you got to say. No, what are you talking about? What are you talking
Because
about?
I could
It
see
was
the
so
whole
bad. I was
thing.
like, hey, never mind, man. Hey, I don't want any trouble, dog. No, you know?
Because I could see the whole thing kind of break down. And the thing that really sent me over was when you looked back to see where I was. And that's when I was like, okay, this motherfucker's trying to talk shit about my team. So go ahead and say whatever it is that you're trying to say. And then I'm glad that you said it, because it was the gasoline to the fire that I needed. So thank you for it. All you guys, really. Thank you.
Hey,
Yes.
I stand corrected.
Yeah.
Great pick, man. That he is balling out.
You know,
Yeah,
and
yeah, he
thank
balled
God.
out all right.
What you should really do, Sugandis, is you should write or text Joe Woomy a thank you for dropping James Cook for whoever the fuck he kept. Because he could have just kept James Cook and then drafted Alvin Kamara and been A-okay.
Yeah, he was trying to trade me for that number 3 pick. Because he had known I was going there with that pick, but I was like, nah, sorry. Yeah. Gotta go with my
What was the
my
hate
boy.
on Alvin Kamara? He had a down year last year. He had some legal issues. What?
He was good
Why-
last year.
Well,
It was a suspension. It was a suspension, and he had injuries, and
Yeah, but
basically
then he came back after
nobody was
that
talking about him.
suspension. He came back after that suspension, and it was like he didn't even miss football at all. Derek Carr was checking down. I think it's Quan. What do you think? I don't know why everybody was fading him.
for why I faded him so much, you know, sometimes when you listen to these analysts too much, you start to believe it. And just all year, there wasn't an analyst at all that believed in Kamara. They were actually fading Kamara everywhere, even on the ranking list and all that. And when I saw I was pick, I was like, that shit wasn't worth it. But hey, you know, everybody was wrong.
Well, I don't think anybody saw the New Orleans Saints coming out to the start of the season that they've had so far, man. So kudos. Even I was, you know, there's that meme out there that, you know, after Kendrick was awarded the Super Bowl, it said like, wait till they find out that the Saints won't be performing at the Super Bowl either. And I was guilty of sending that to all my New Orleans friends. So it's making me look a little bad right now after 2 weeks.
Long season though, long way to go.
Very true.
Long way to go. Speaking of, before we pivot to Quan's matchup, there was something that came across the thread, the AGS thread, earlier in the week before the matchups. It was a GIF. I don't know who. Yeah, you know where this is going. I don't know how this happened. Who snuck this? But this is Slurp Gate, Slurp Face. What's the story behind this? BC, you were there, so. What happened?
I'd love to know, like, what are your feelings when you see it pop up? Because you know that someone's going to be able to get access to it. So, like, in that moment when you see the camera go by, because I saw it in Jamon's eyes. Jamon was like, "This is going to come back to haunt."
He knew it.
Us being the
I don't think it's about what was in Jamon's eyes. It's about the love that was in BC's eyes.
You know, I haven't seen eyes and a tongue wagging like I see that every morning when I go to grab my dog, and he's like, "Papa, I want to go for a walk." That's what Sid looked like. Sid, I get it. You probably were in the moment. You had something to drink. You're partying. You're having fun. But why? Why did you have to look at Jamon so deep in his eyes? And why did and I know we just caught you at the wrong moment. But that tongue out to the side, burying your eyes, staring deep into Jamon's soul. Explain it to us, man. And the guy that recorded it, like, why give us such good content to work with?
I was trying to remain silent through your little monologue to make sure the camera wouldn't catch my reaction to all that. I'm just going to say that, you know, as soon as I saw James Walker Watson III with his camera. I knew, but it was too late. I am going to take the fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's my answer. Next topic, please.
Wow, unbelievable. Whatever it was, I haven't seen an exchange like that since the end of The Notebook. That was amazing.
What makes it so awesome is that he looks up to Jamon.
Oh man, that's amazing. We'll never know. Quan, you faced Joe.
Oh
Owusu,
wait. I need the crowd to know exactly what we're talking about here. So we're just
Okay,
I'm so
show
far
us.
away from the camera. Anybody got a close up? This is from
I
a
think I
distance. You
might.
can't see it here. We
Just
got to
take a
zoom in.
second.
This is Slurp Face. Like BC's trying to not talk about it. It needs a little more. We need.
Oh,
we need
no.
to.
Oh, is that what we're doing? Okay. All right.
Nick can probably just edit it in.
There
There it
it
is.
is.
Here we go, guys.
Oh yeah.
Here we go. There it is, right there.
And the thing
Okay.
is, you need the GIF because
It's the gift that
it
keeps
just looks
on
like
giving.
he's
isn't
staring
it?
off into the distance, searching for Phi Nu Pi, but it's not searching for Phi Nu Pi. It's searching for my Jamon Pie.
Papa Pie.
Apple pie.
Jamon's face is so great.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay.
And then you flip the camera off at the end too, which really kind of sealed the deal on how fucked
that's how I
you
because I
were.
knew. That's when I knew. Like to quote
That's when I
Nipsey,
knew.
that's when I knew.
Well,
Oh,
the funny
my
thing is
God.
that
it's okay.
my
Next
wife-
week's
my-
topic will be yoga poses on the water in Mexico. Yes,
Yeah, but
that's
see,
going to be next
those
week's
things.
pose.
We know you have it because we gave it to you, Sid.
And I
Like,
was
we handed
trying.
it
No,
to
no,
you.
no, not we. But it's okay.
It is we. I told my wife it was all right. I don't care. I'm confident in who I am. You'll see my great vacation in Mexico. But that's the thing is that was handed to you on a silver platter. These are gifts of mana from the sky that
Mana
should
from
not
heaven?
be given to us. Mana from heaven of Slurp Faces. I love it.
It was
Oh,
amazing.
man, yeah.
And we
You know
caught
what?
you in your
Amazing.
natural environment.
So
just
natural, so authentic. It was so authentic.
slurping with the sun out.
Oh my God. You
In
alluded
public.
to this. Nick, you alluded to this last week. I am a very superstitious person. And once you start getting gifts of manna from heaven, once Kamara starts scoring 4 touchdowns and AJ Brown decides he wants to take a game off, I knew the L was coming. So yeah, it was all bad. So thank you. Thank you, James Watson, for capturing every moment and posting it. We definitely appreciate that.
Is he our one
Wait a
viewer?
minute. Is AJ Brown on your team or Papa's team?
Nah.
No, AJ Brown is the reason why
Devontae
Devonta Smith put up almost 20 points tonight.
Oh, I
Yeah,
thought you were referencing the loss of Jamon's player. Okay, all right, my bad.
No, we'll
You
get
know
to
what?
that. Yeah, yes.
Are we
Hey,
gonna? We're gonna
Papa,
carve out
he'll be
time
back
for
next
the
week,
Twitter,
Papa.
right? Because
Yeah, right now, right now. This-
doubling
this is
down.
Twitter. This is quarter time right now. Quan.
Thank you.
Quan, okay, so before you even break down this fucking week of yours, let's just lay it all on the table. You were going to abandon the podcast after being here week after week, providing me with critical pre-production texts and all this information and ideas and calling. And can we do it on the off season? When can we start it? And then you want to quit, sir. And we know
And
that
he's a founder. He's the founder, right? This was his brainchild.
he did push us in the direction of the audio podcast to begin with, and of
Last
course
year.
that evolved to this. So last year, yeah, that was really Quan's pushing. Like, if you guys are interested, I'll really help out. I've got all this information, and I'll be happy to share it. And we can break it down. It'll be great. And then you quit, which I know broke your heart. And that's not even. You don't need to tell us why. We know why. I want to know why you jump back in. So like 10 toes in, the next day you're like texting me, I want back in.
Can't live without it, man. Can't live without it. This podcast, AGS, is really like my number one hobby. outside
Number 2 next to lotion. Don't lie to yourself.
Well, I knew if we
I won't
applied
deny
enough
that.
pressure on the thread that the Quan would return. So all the quitting jokes on the thread
The
was
pressure-
really just Quan. We want you on the podcast. We love you.
Backed by popular.
Dude, we need that lip for good fodder, bro. We can't live without that lip.
No,
Wait, what was the reason why he didn't want to do it?
so we
It's,
cannot
Yeah,
talk.
top secret information.
He wanted to quit because because he and his father were exchanging their relationship, and it was off court. It was very upsetting. So he was contemplating quitting because he wanted to make sure Papa is happy. Speaking of,
It was a roller coaster of things all at the same time. But
A roller coaster of emotions.
speaking of a roller coaster of emotions, I see the pegging stormtrooper is moved and covered his private parts for the podcast.
Should have fuck did.
You know what?
He's hiding it for
In
later.
the
if
bushes,
you
bro.
lean a little bit to your left, Nick, it'll be right back in place.
Hey, fuck you guys.
Mhm.
Camera. He went off camera to give him a hug and a kiss.
Don't listen to those evil guys.
Oh God.
It's gonna be okay, guys.
Oh,
It's gonna be okay.
Does he wear that hat during the pegging?
Oh, man.
Now it looks like he's jerking
I'll
off
tell you
off
what. I'll
camera.
tell you what. The Raiders pegged the Ravens. That's for sure. Right up
How
that
the hell
old
did that
shooter.
happen?
All right, Quan. You
Yeah.
beat Joe Woomy. What is the Quan flip? I'm confused. What is the Quan flip?
The Quan flip?
Yeah, you
don't
put
know.
that in.
Because he flipped. He quit, and then he came back. He
Oh,
flipped.
I got you. Oh, the flip flop. Okay,
Did
so
I
we
say
already covered
that? I thought they kept saying that.
I think NJC said
No,
it.
brother.
Okay.
No. Those are in the production notes that Quan put in there.
Oh yeah. We just talked about it. That was Anyway,
Oh, the flip flop. Well, hey, welcome back, man. We couldn't do it without you, brother. We
I
couldn't do
appreciate it,
without you.
guys.
Thank
Love you
for being
guys.
back.
Appreciate it.
That's
But,
sincere.
Well,
That's-
I had done some research on the Quan quitting, and I had all this stuff. Man, I ordered stuff on Amazon. I was going to add to the backdrop here. I had this goat that me and my kids were going to deface before the session, but I do want to. There's one piece of research that I want to put
my
out
God.
there. And Lewis, now that you're here and you're present, you will not be joining this list. But I looked up original hosts that were replaced by better talent. And, NJC's nipping on your heels here on the podcast. But the original host of The Daily Show was Craig Kilborn. Daily Show just won an Emmy last night. It wasn't Craig Kilborn who accepted that trophy. Brian Dunkelman was one of the original hosts of American Idol. Chuck Woolery was the original host of Wheel of Fortune. And next on that list was going to be Louis Gray, the original host of the AGS podcast, who left us and was replaced by NJC. But you're back, and we're happy that you're back. So I didn't have, but I did that research. I didn't want it to go to waste.
Yeah, I'm glad that didn't come to fruition because NJC is funnier than me. But,
No,
man.
that's an Emmy Award winning lip there, Lou. I'm sorry. You can't.
See, the
Hey,
good great
Frog, well-
one-liners never stop. See,
He is good with the
but
one-liners. Frog.
is he
Thank you
as
for that.
funny without me on the pod? That's the question.
Well, yeah, that's why
No.
I said we need you. So everybody needs somebody to make fun of. You know what I'm saying?
It would simultaneously be not as funny and not as dry.
Lou is like Beetlejuice on like the Howard Stern show. You know what I mean? You're Beetlejuice. We need you.
Beetlejuice is on the Howard Stern.
Rest
Oh,
in
he doesn't
peace,
even
didn't
know
he
that
die?
Beetlejuice.
Wow.
Oh,
The
Quan,
bigger
I'm
question,
sorry.
though, is would NJC be allowed to be his true self if his papa was on the podcast, or would he be censored?
Oh,
Maybe we'll find
There
out
we
later
go.
this season.
here we go.
All right, can we get to my game? All right, I'll be
Can we
quick.
get to my games? Yes. 10 minutes ago.
No. Anyway, dude. Yeah. I even though the score doesn't reflect it, I kind of felt like that game was really close. Because, man, and I'll just get into the state of the tight ends is really terrible right now in our league. And Travis Kelce is, I thought his floor was going to be somewhere around 8 or 9 points. His floor is 0. That's the floor for Travis Kelce right now. But gratefully, I'm glad that the rest of the tight ends in the league are struggling. But anyway, I thought that game came close. That Houston game, Joe had Stroud, Tank Dell, and Swift playing, and he was only down by 30. And I had like a kicker and Joe Mixon who ended up getting hurt. But anyway, no, I'm just grateful for another win. Every win's important. But anyway, yeah, I'm not going to talk too much about my game. I think there's other games that are more exciting.
Yeah, I know Joe drafted a rookie tight end and enrolled with a backup tight end. I'm sorry, the number 1 tight end for the Ravens, who put up 3 points there for him. While the backup tight end scored 7 points. So it's good to know that he got that call right, and you guys also got that call right too.
Hey, just that's a good segue into this. Joe and the likely ad with his using his coveted waiver wire position to grab Likely. Does am I the only one that senses that maybe Joey Bryant had something to do with that to help induce his the trade of Kincaid to him? I'm sure that was part of the discussion when they made that trade. My thought,
I mean, possibly, but Joey didn't have to sell it. Like the whole world was talking about Likely. I had a waiver add in for Likely. He was CBS put him as like the number 1 free agent to pick up. So, yeah, like was that part of Joey's proposal? Probably, because Joey's a smart trader. But I mean, if Joe had read anything, the one thing about Joe though is he rarely uses it. So. I think this is the earliest he's ever used that position to make a free agent acquisition.
That's what surprised me the most. Like Joe waits, to the perfect, when it's like the perfect sure shot waiver wire pick. When he already had 2 tight ends, that he could have just kept.
I think that's the bigger issue. I think we need at this point to have a welfare check on Joe. His mentality, his mental health. It's failing, guys. I mean, these thoughts. I mean, at first it was the drafting. Now it's the waiver wire. I mean, next he's going to be in the streets talking to himself. He's crazy. He's losing.
Yeah,
I tell you, that goes back. Nick kind of he remained calm. He spoke with rationally, not emotionally, and Likely came down. Right? He said, "This is Nick. You can speak on this, but Likely came back down to earth this week."
Thank you. Before we get into your game with Queef Swallower, and maybe this will help you as it's helping me, you have to remember it's week 2. Queef Swallower started out super hot last year, faded super bad, ended up in last place. Guys take off in week 1, week 2, and then maybe you never hear from them again. So you just got to kind of remain calm here. Don't panic. And I did this shit last year with Jordan Love and Jaden Reed. They had 2 bad games, and I dropped them too early. And then they ended up being who they were. So you hang in there, brother. Tell us about your game. Let's get this Husa going here. You took a licking.
Yeah, I got beat by about 70 points. Let's see. Half of my starters are injured, and I have played the highest scoring team in AGS now back-to-back weeks. I mean, that's pretty much the quick summary. Queef Swallower's cousin said he does not believe in stacks, yet the Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison Jr. Cardinals stack combined for a total of 65 points. I took a good ass whooping from Queef Swallower. Congrats. And, Queef Swallower kind of reminds me of what the Atlanta Falcons did tonight. They're looking for that one quality win. Now, the Frogs are not comparable to the current Philadelphia Eagles, but that's a good quality win to go from last place to now in the second week of the new season, scoring 165 points. I think getting his first $30 high score prize. Welcome to AGS, Queef Swallower. Great win.
That was a good win. He's 1-1. Well, we'll talk about how real we think how if we can sustain something like that. Thanks for that.
Well, I'll also give him credit. I think we talked about this on the last pod, but that no one could really block it. But he was able to pick up Jordan Mason, who replaced his number 1 keeper, Christian McCaffrey. Jordan Mason comes through with 18.5, and now it looks like he'll be the starting running back for another month and a half. My only question for Queef Swallower, though, is, in all honesty, Is this your roster, Queef Swallower, or has this been assisted by cousins and friends named Jamal who are co-managing your team?
Yeah, he's got some optimize. It's been optimized. His roster has been optimized.
Quan is silent.
You know, Quan is silent. Actually, NJC was silent when you were going through that that little soliloquy monologue about the queef swallower. I saw you kind of in the background, not wanting to say anything. And if it wasn't for my slight buzz and my old age, I'd remember exactly what he was talking about, because there was a point to this. There was something that Siebert fucking said, and I cannot remember it. But I saw your face, dude. You were sitting back there like, I'm not going to say anything. God
No,
damn
man.
it.
I mean,
to answer
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Sugan.
No, let's Sugan. So what were you gonna say, Sugan?
to answer Lennon's question about whose lineup is. I mean, we've seen Lou in real time veto,
Oh my god,
call for certain picks and players. So I mean, I think we all know the answer.
he begged the question on the podcast last year.
Yeah.
Fuck it. This is the spot where I'm gonna find that shit. I'm gonna edit into this right here. Pause. It's coming in right here. Is it okay? What do you guys think about maybe I could co-own a team?
Yep.
Oh shit, he sure the fuck said
He
that.
did. Remember that?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
Queef
Yeah.
Swallows is actually the ambassadors on JV Squad. They're not their own entity.
The ambassadors of
Queef
Queef.
Swaller, for the record, he manages his own team, makes his own choices.
Right on the couch next to you.
Just
If it was up to
accept
Queef
that out.
Swallower, he would have Bryce Young and Michael Penix Jr. on his roster.
Okay,
Extra Penix.
there's no argument
Extra
to that.
Penix.
No argument.
You say his name. That's some funny shit. Penix Jr.
Mr. Penix. Hey, somebody to drive Penix.
No.
There's too much Penix on this roster.
For the integrity of the league, I could not let Bryce Young be the first overall pick, or not the first, but the first pick in a draft. And I wasn't the only one that protested that.
How dare you talk about integrity of the league and then go shadow manage someone else's team?
I'm
Right.
not managing
What
anybody.
is this?
How is that like now manifesting the truth now? How's that manifesting the truth?
You're right. You're not even shadow managing it. You're
Okay.
just straight up managing it. No,
right.
that's what you did at the
Explain-
draft.
Explain why Michael Penix Jr. is not on his roster.
Oh man, that's
Hey,
Don't get
man.
that Penix.
BC.
Don't draft that Penix.
You only get to play with my Penix, not that Penix.
oh, no.
Remember
No,
when
that-
we were,
Yo.
and we were playing with that team?
I replayed the podcast 4 or 5 times last week, and every time he sat down into the camera with that look, you could just you know Lewis is running that team, bro. Like he sat back, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to live out here in this world. Nah, bro. Lewis, you are running that team, and you are that's like your NBA G League. And he's developing players for you, and they're going to trade them to you for peanuts later on down the league. I know what's going on.
Not true.
I got somebody who can join the league, boys.
Not true at all. All right. Anyway,
All right,
to piggyback on Lennon, to just kind of respond to Lennon's statement about stacks. So fantasy football talk here. The reason why I don't like stacks is because, yeah, you do win with them, but you fall with them too. And last week, neither Marvin Harrison Jr. nor Kyler Murray had a good game, and he took a loss. And it's going to be like that for him all season. He'll ball when the Cardinals ball, and he'll fall when the Cardinals fall. And so that's why I don't like stacks. And in reality, if you're stacks, you don't need them. If your quarterback balls and your wide receiver balls, whether they play on the same team or not, you still get big scores. So that's how I feel about stacks. So
I don't know. We've had some legendary stacks in this league.
But
Yeah,
speaking
Frog.
of Kyler Murray, it was brought up last week on the podcast that Quan had kind of regretted not picking him up. Just tell me how you felt this week watching Kyler Murray put up 36 points while you started Justin Fields.
He hit you with the
I
reporter
knew I shouldn't have told him to
question.
draft him. Rudy's right though. There have been some legendary stacks in this league,
Oh yeah.
and the thing is you say, yeah, of course they're gonna have bad games. Everybody has a fucking bad game. Nobody plays perfect all season long. But how many of those bad games versus how many of those good games are they gonna have? And he might be onto something here. That looked pretty electric. That looked pretty unstoppable.
It's scary. And I don't know if you mind talking about it now, but is it a fluke or should we be worried? I mean, looking at that team, it's very looking at it. It has potential to do this pretty often. Especially and then
Looking at that team or looking at your team?
It's anyway. Devontae Adams is looking to get peppered with targets. Oh man,
Godwin was probably the least consistent of those big scores that he had this week, but I think you can count on Mason. We already talked about him. I definitely think you can count on Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. That's going to be a thing. And like you said, Devontae Adams is going to be there doing it. So,
But I think Godwin's ball 2 weeks straight.
Godwin has been a godsend.
mm-hmm.
I'll tell you. I don't know. It just looks like this week was like an overcorrection from last week. Tight ends 8, people who got ignored. Drake London got some stupid touchdown. Like I think it was just an overcorrection from last week. But I mean, any given Sunday, a team will put up 165 points with sunglasses on the podcast. I mean, you just never know.
Another nice pickup. He went and targeted the defense playing against the Panthers, and Chargers D gave him a solid 14 points.
Yep.
And Bryce Young got benched for that performance.
yeah.
Man.
Yep. And the Raiders play the Panthers next week, so Devontae Adams could repeat that. Maybe bad news for the curse. Who's got to face him? Moving on, Rudy, you faced your mortal nemesis, one of the Slurp squad. The guy who kind of quit on us last week. Speaking of quitters, he quit on us last week, to be honest, because he was all in. And usually he's good for it. Usually he'll show up on the pod and he'll do his thing. But
Any
break that down for us,
any intel from his Slurp brethren on why he didn't show to the pod?
and why he's been quiet too. all
Yeah,
week long.
he hasn't. I mean, he hasn't even fired back. I mean, I don't even feel comfortable taking shots at him now.
Well, there was a day that he was firing back, and I think he put his foot in his mouth, and he's been quiet ever since.
I don't know, man. I don't know. He didn't show up to the pod. I don't know. I mean, he worked. He said he's working. If he's working, he's working. He needs to come on the podcast and defend himself. I mean, the camera will point that low.
I do. I do remember him saying that he had time on his hands, and then Jamon jumped on the thread and questioned, "Boo, you have time on your hands?" And then I don't remember him responding after that.
Maybe his hands and his mouth got filled after that.
Yeah, haven't seen him since. No, we miss you, Boo. I mean, come on, man.
He's buying a Rolex.
We do need the antagonist.
Well, one thing I don't like going into the game hadn't even started, and he does. And I don't know who started the GG. I think it is so gay that you guys do this GG on the thread, and every single week. Jesus Christ, who started this? But he goes GG, Rudy. The guy's down by 15 points with a tight end who scored a touchdown last week. Like, why are you? I just don't get it. I get it if it's like an insurmountable lead, but you're down by 15. The game hasn't started. I know he has history with Kyle Pitts, but don't wave the white flag before the game.
And plus, too, it wasn't even a good game. It was just about who lost with the most points on their bench.
True that.
That's basically what happened. But I love
you guys left a lot out there.
But I do love a good 13 and a half by Devin Singletary. I'll tell you that.
Your boy, we all talked. Well,
You're
I did not
hurt.
talk shit about him last week. I kind of gave him a defense there. I was wrong on my facts, but I was trying to
Go
support
ahead.
the cause here.
Apparently,
go
his
ahead.
floor is 6 points. His ceiling is 6 points. Apparently, that's his ceiling.
Apparently, but no. I can't
Talk
wait to
your
use.
shit.
I can't wait to use Shaheed next week.
Oh,
Uh,
good punch. Good punch,
Mhm.
Emmett. I've been after
Yeah,
Shaheed.
you like that? Yeah, cool.
I like that. Yeah, punk ass.
I kind of hate Shaheed, actually. I kind of hate that guy.
Yeah, because
I don't know.
he's
I don't
eating
know
all
what's
of Olave's bread.
All of
yes,
it.
indeed. And again, I had the tight end problem with Laporta, man. Golf is out there just looking like sheep shit. It's crazy.
Hey, you got to take Laporta's 2 points when you got Nico Collins 25.
Ah,
On the
And he was
Good old
like,
Nick.
and Diggs was
contract.
like, you know, the funny thing
Yeah,
is,
he was looking the
Nick,
same way he was looking in Buffalo.
yeah, right. Hey, I'm sorry, Nick, but it's funny. I intentionally was going to come on the podcast to talk about my dropper's remorse of Debo Samuel until I see that he's been hurt and he'll be out for a couple weeks. So,
Still put up
sorry,
17
but
though. Still put up 17. You know, it's fine. Apparently, everyone gets hurt on my roster. So, you know,
everybody seems to be getting hurt in freaking San Francisco. Shit.
I got a
Going
couple
on
of
with that.
notes from
Ayuk.
Voodoo's team. He called me or
What
texted
the
me before
fuck
the
was that?
I was moving my chair back. You guys heard that?
You farted, you fucker.
No.
Hey Nick, can we mute Citron's mic here? Jesus
Yeah,
Christ!
sorry.
In the
I think we
middle
have
of
to.
my
I think
sentence, man.
I think we have to mute Lou's ass, dude. He just got a dirty fart.
I moved my chair.
That's the
Oh,
chair.
I just did it again just to prove it. Yeah, right, dude.
Jesus.
You can't make cheeks clap like that by pushing a chair back.
All right, two things about Voodoo's squad. He started Lad McConkey with 3 points over Calvin Ridley, 22 points. And he had this like emergency text message. Apparently, and maybe I'll clarify this for the entire league. If you put a free agent claim in, I can't see any of that. And Vu, year after year after year, he's like, push through my claim. Like, I have no idea what claim you're speaking about. Like, who is it? Who do you want? Who do you want to cut? You guys have to give me that information. I don't. If you put it into the system, it doesn't just come to my inbox and says there's a pending transaction. So, anyways, he wanted to drop Braylon Allen and pick up is it Alec Pierce from the Colts?
Alec Pierce, I dropped.
And he was like, "This has to happen. This has to happen. The game's starting at 10:00." So I'm like, "All right, man." So I push it through. And then he leaves Pierce on the bench with 14.5 points. I don't know what the urgency was. And he dropped Braylon Allen, who had 2 touchdowns. So, yeah, just
fantastic.
What's
Great
the waiver
strategy.
order?
Yeah, he gets pushed to the back for that, right?
yeah,
he's,
but he
should
was
be like
he
12 or
was
something.
he was already 11th, so he just went down to 12th on the
Oh,
waiver.
okay.
Dang. Yeah, crazy. That's fucking crazy. Last week, we all, I think, pretty much were in unison that Curse would beat Pimps, and Pimps smacked the shit out of Curse.
Oh yeah.
Real quick before we go to that game, I want to point out Vu's combo first round picks of Mike Evans and Michael Pittman, a combined 9 points this week.
It was a down week. It was a down week.
Well,
All right.
so the
I-
podcast is influential because he sure did play McConkey.
The lad McConkey.
Well, I mean,
I'm
I feel
wiry.
I'm having some buyer's remorse on Justin Herbert. I should have known better. The Chargers have some ridiculous win record when they run the ball more than they throw it, and I think they're just going to be running a whole hell of a lot. So,
Oh yeah, you didn't ask. Oh yeah, you asked me everything about Justin Herbert. I could tell you that shit.
they weren't running the ball that much. They were throwing the ball a lot. That's why they were losing all those games.
They
in the past
hired
couple
Jim
of years.
Harbaugh.
They hired Jim Harbaugh. I should have known.
He drafted an offensive lineman with his first pick in the draft.
J.K.
Yep, all the
Dobbins.
signs were there. I know J.K.
Waiver wire
Dobbins might be the steal of the draft. He might be the steal.
I don't
of the
know.
draft.
Is
Go
Curse?
for that 2-for-1. Quentin Johnson's on the waiver wire.
Hey, Herbert was your
pass.
backup quarterback. You still have Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, he's gonna need some time to cook, man. That's not gonna pop off as fast as I thought. So we'll see who's out there. Where's Gardner Minshew at? Where's my guy Minshew?
Question about Pimps and Curse. Is Curse, this might be a record. This is the first time in AGS history that a team had the highest points in the league one week and the lowest points in the week in the following week.
Damn.
That's fantasy football for you right there. I mean, yeah, who would have thought, man? A lot of underperformers. Xavier Worthy after that blowout week. I mean, Rashee Rice still did his thing, but Jamar Chase, yeah. Any concern there? Is that panic mode?
As a Joe Burrow owner, I'm worried.
They had some issues on the sideline.
Mm-hmm. And on the field too. Got a little physical for a moment.
Chase does not look happy.
No, he doesn't. He felt like he got fooled by the management, by the contract. That's never good.
I think his agents did him wrong. For him to hold out,
and
not spend all the offseason on the sideline, and then he decides to play. Of course, he's not going to be, 100% when you've missed all of training camp. And now he's certainly not looking worth the money that he's expecting. That was not a good management decision.
Took out a 50 million insurance. Was that insurance claim or injuries? Whatever it's called.
A couple days ago.
I think Josh Allen will give you an aberration game like that a couple of times a year, so I don't expect that to happen again. They got the Thursday nighter against New England, right? Is that them? Is them this week or no?
No, they play Monday against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh, is it like Jets? Who's got the Thursday night game? I thought it was
Jets Pats. Yeah, Jets Pats.
Jets Pats. Oh, okay. Word. I don't know about Dalton Kincaid. I don't know about that trade. He had George Kittle. So
I mean, Joey usually makes good trades and stuff that usually benefits his team, but that one I question a little bit. I don't know how many picks he had to spare. Maybe because Joey does compile.
He's got a lot of picks to spare.
Yeah, and so it meant nothing for him to spend that third. I actually texted him after that, and usually I knew something was wrong actually because Joey texted me, right away about his trade. So that kind of let me know that he was probably feeling a little remorse. Yeah, I mean his thought process behind it when I talked to him was that he was just building depth at the tight end position. But he had Kittle. I don't think he needed to spend that such a high pick. Third round picks are pretty valuable. On
cost him 12.5 points this week. Kincaid was a buy low target this week. I also want to point out, Sugandi's the curse is one of those that disrespects your New Orleans Saints. He actively started the Dallas Cowboys defense against your New Orleans Saints, and they gave him a whopping 0 points. Who dat?
People like to sleep on my team. They like to sleep on the Saints. I mean, we're one and the same,
Can you pull that dick broom off the top of your lip and talk a little clearer into the microphone, CK?
Well, CK
mustache looks a little porn star.
CK is one of the youngest members in the league. He doesn't have the expendable income that like us to just order all this podcast equipment every week on Amazon.
Literally every week. Upgrading the podcast studio today.
Live from Cell Block 4, CK Gales. Yeah.
Lennon had a whole fucking
books, bro. I'm gonna come put some on your books, all right?
Lennon had some shit built special for his podcast. Everybody's got the upgrades over here, and yeah,
my
man,
stuff is coming. Mine is coming.
Lou's got the Batman.
Guys like my office.
Yeah, I see it.
That looks great.
Hey, hand me a book.
We're actually pushing up on a. We're pushing up on an hour over here. Maybe it's
Damn,
the notebook.
already?
You maybe he's got the notebook back there. You can read it, and then you can find your true love story with you and Jamon.
I can make my face.
It's not about
God
time. It's
damn.
about timing. Oh.
I've never seen that movie. Thank you.
Oh Jesus! It's a wonderful movie. Come on,
No, it's
dude.
not.
Ryan Gosling,
It's
Rachel Adams.
It's not.
Thanks,
Anyways,
AK.
all right, we got a
If
couple
you're
of
not-
matchups left.
George.
I just want to point out that I never beat Jamon, and he beat me again, and I suffered a bunch of losses. And this leads me right into next week. I match up against Quan next week. I'm not feeling great about it, but we'll see how Joe Mixon looks, and it is fantasy football, so anything can happen. Yeah, let that smile and that grunt just leave it at that. Don't say anything else. NJC, you're playing your brother from another mother, your papa's sibling. How you feeling about this one?
The best way I can summarize what I'm this weekend is: you ever take a really beautiful woman out and have a night, and you get back home and you kind of come up short in the bedroom, and you're feeling bad. Your self-esteem is low, and then lo and behold, next weekend you hang out with round the block Betty that everybody gets a turn with, and you go to work and you make yourself feel like a good man. This weekend is round the block Betty. I'm gonna go balls deep and just make myself feel better after that shellacking I took last weekend.
Oh my God!
Proud to Black Betty.
And with the new microphone, that sounded real passionate. Actually, that picked up the bass in your voice, real nice. Pimps and
just gonna-
Siebert
I'm just
frogs
gonna-
for the matchup there. Siebert, you want me to wait till you get your background set, or do you want me to just move on to Rudy? I'll move on to Rudy. I'll you get set up there. Rudy,
Hey, for the record, the Baskin Robbins 31 flavors last week was hilarious. It was funny.
by the way, he did bring that back. Wait a minute. Holy shit. Thank you so much. Is that one of those jokes you picked up on the second listen? Because I was really proud of that joke. It looked just like Baskin Robbins.
That was a good one. No, I'm going to say this for this one. I'm sorry. MVP for the best joke last week goes to you, host, for talking about how wet Lou's lip. He's like, your lip is just so wet.
It's dripping. He was like,
See this?
it was amazing. Thank you. I appreciate that. His lip is so wet.
About to die over it.
So
Nah,
no, Oops was over here. Quick Swallow was here. Where this was the first time I was utilizing my podcast studio, and there's a ton of stuff behind me. And we were just like, "What can we do?" We pulled out my leather recliner. I downgraded today back to my outdoor chair, but we were just trying to do the most. And at the last minute, we're like, "The TV's here. Let's throw something on the screen." And on our end, this is Senior Fog's Las Vegas promo commercial. On our end, it was Poker Chips. We host a monthly poker game, and it said Senior Frogs on the poker chips on red poker chips. But apparently it didn't come through as red on the screen. So that's why we got the 31 flavors pink. So I went with a safer choice, the slot machine, green frogs here, adjusted the settings a bit. And, every week, like CK said, we're going to be upgrading the podcast. So, you had your jokes. There will be no more pink screens in my background. But I'll take a pink screen over Lewis's bookshelf back there.
That's authentic, handcrafted, master craftsmanship.
that is
AI.
that is I
That
is-
is all.
IKEA 2000.
That is all fantasy football information, gentlemen.
If you're a white woman,
Daily.
in your 20s,
Those are all dummy
that
books
would
that
be a
opens up
perfect
to a
background.
cuckold room.
Daily
Wait, we
study.
need to hear that. Scum. Everyone quiet. Scum made a funny.
Say it again without laughing. If you were a white woman in your 20s, that would be a perfect background. You and pumpkin spice latte with a
I'm
sweater that hangs over
manifesting.
your.
Oh,
I'm
I'm so
manifesting.
grateful practicing gratitude.
Sitting on
The
your
notebook
stones.
isn't half bad.
Mhm.
Hey, the
Having a
notebook.
shake from Erewhon.
Yeah. So
Hey,
last
NJ
couple of matchups here. Let me get to this. Let's get through this. Rudy, Sugandis, you guys got
I
it
got,
next week,
got
man.
nephew over here, so I'm going to have to. I got nephew over here.
How are you feeling about taking on nephew? How are you feeling about that one?
No, I feel good. I'm at least put together a better roster than I did this week. But I got a chance.
Think, hey, who are the Saints playing next week? That's really important.
The Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay, 3 touchdowns for Kamara. 3 touchdowns. only 3.
Some light.
Some light
Light
work. Two rushing, 1 receiving, right at the goal line.
If anybody has a quarterback who can get more than 6 points, I would do anything for that. So
Whoa.
Would you do the slurp face? CK, would you do the slurp face?
Oh, oh my God! Holy moly!
He would
Saw
do
your
anything.
tonsils. Jesus.
Add a
Quitters.
pop to that.
Seabird Frogs, you have the Pimps next week. How you feeling about that matchup?
Well, I still have half of my roster out to injury. I'm just happy that Pimps is limping in a bit himself. T. Higgins, I think, is down. Isaiah Pacheco's the newest injury added to the list that is growing. I want to give, a lot of people gave Pimps some grief about his first-round pick on DK Metcalf. He put up 27 points this week. So always a good battle with the Pimps. He's fresh off 145 points this week. So with my luck, he'll have a similar amount of points next week. We'll see. I don't know. Not looking good for the Frogs. I don't get my starters back until maybe week 5 or week 6. So we're struggling, and we get the Quan comes to town in week 4. I bet he can't wait.
Oh God! Oh God! Look at that
But
lip.
I
That lip is it's
I remember
bubbling
what
right
happened
now.
last
Yeah,
year.
he's licking that lip.
Kelsey.
Oh boy.
Hey, I think I swear to God, Lou burns calories when he licks his lip.
Hey, the
A lot of
funniest thing
service
about
there.
the lip and the podcast is at this point, it's my driving companion. I do school drop off while listening to the podcast, and LJ's been running around the house all week doing the lip. He's just been going like this
Oh my
all
God!
week. I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be watching the podcast in front of my son. He was like,
The lip
Oh.
is licking legs. Uncle Lip.
Well, you know what?
Uncle Lip.
You got the thinnest
Don't worry.
Wakanda lips I've ever seen in my life.
He'll,
Is he blacked out? Are you sure?
I hope he's here to provide you some therapeutic humor after the ass whooping I give you week after next.
we'll see, because
So-
I heard that guarantee last year, and it was false. So
All
let's
right.
see. Hopefully, you can pull it off this year, Queef.
Or pull
Just
it out.
focus on your team that week, not on Queef Swallower's team.
Or Queen,
my
well, he's
other
going to be
team.
busy because Queen
Hey.
Swallowers has cursed this week. So Quan will be busy. I hope, in fact, you focus on his team so much you forget about your team, and maybe I can sneak in there and get a W.
So anyway, I look forward to that game because it's going to send you right into the fire cell, and I look forward to it. Just try not to hand somebody another championship this year.
We'll see. We'll see. You still bitter about
I'm
that?
waiting
huh,
in the
Queef?
rafters. I got picks.
No back-to-back for Queef.
All right, fellas. Hey, we've done over an hour already, and we still left some topics on the table, but maybe that's for next week. I want to thank you guys for joining us. Sugandis, thank you for coming out after your succulent Indian meal. We really appreciate that. Our new regular pod squad people here, NJC,
Yo.
Cedar Frogs, Ambassadors of Quan, and Rudy's replacements. I'm your boy Rebel Scum. We're signing off.
Hey,
The
Scum,
week
that
we
was
got.
very rude. Very rude. Queef submitted 20 topics for today's recording, and you didn't
Hey.
address any of them.
They all
Hey.
got covered.
I actually, no, we got to like about 5 of them. We're pretty good. We got 20.
And so you quit the rest? You quit? Did you quit the rest of the items just like Lip did? Yeah.
I just quit them. I said
Fucking quitter.
I said quit, and he said you can't quit me.
My lip sick.
All right, gentlemen. Hope you have a great week, except for you, Quan. I hope you have the worst week of your fantasy football season coming up.
Oh, yeah.
All right,
See you
boys.
later. Please like and subscribe.